no, it was a great year for me. As you said, I won a WPT title in Montreal. Everything fell in place for me that week. Didn't take any bad beats, obviously. Won every race. Sucked out a few times, so it worked out great. And then I finished fourth at the LAPC for 300,000, so that was a good score as well. And the week after that, the Bay 101 went very deep in the tournament. So it's really been a good year, been very successful, and it's fun when you're running good, catching good, and you're not taking those horrendous beats that we all take in this game. For me, it was very pleasing and satisfying to get in the WPT Champions Club because I admire all these great players so much and have for years. And, you know, the dream of every poker player, I think, is to get your name on the Champions Cup. And fortunately for me, I've done that. You know, as a professional poker player where I literally just played poker for a living for like 25 years with no paycheck, you know, and then all of a sudden I sort of transitioned to the business side of poker. Got involved with the online site Party Poker, and then the World Poker Tour, of course. So, you know, now I'm more known as the commentator in the World Poker Tour than a player. So,
well, until this year.
Yeah, now I'm a player again. Well, the only advice I have for them is, obviously, you got to just keep playing. You got to have an even keel. I believe playing tournament poker, you have to be mentally tough more than any sport that there is. It's the toughest profession. You know, so many times you go to events, you play really well, and you take that bad beat and you get knocked out, and it's very frustrating. And if you can't deal with that kind of frustration, then tournament poker is not going to be for you. It's going to be a tough way to go because, you know, it's so rare you're successful. Even when you get to a final table and you finish fifth or fourth, which is a good result, that later on you reflect and say, hey, that was a pretty good result.
Yeah.
But at the time you're frustrated because you had a shot to win it and you didn't do it. So, you know, truthfully, it's very difficult, and you have to have the right mental fortitude, you know, to be able to take the ups and downs of the business. You know, there's not many jobs in the world where you go to work all day and you come home with less money than you started the day with. Well, in the poker world, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And if you can't deal with that, you know, then it's probably not the profession for you or something to try to do. Now, I always tell everybody who plays a lot of poker, whether you're a recreational player or pro, you play a few times a week, you can't think of one day's poker result and let that bother you. You should look at it as a year-long poker game. You know, just look at the balance sheet at the end of the year. Are you in the plus or are you in the minus? And obviously, if you're a successful player, you're going to be in the plus at the end of the year. So don't worry about today or tomorrow if they're bad days. Just look at the bottom line at the end of the year, you'll be better off. I love the opportunity to play in it, and you do play with all these great players, and it's fun for me to get to mix it up with them all. And I was actually going really good there for most of the day. I had above average chips almost all day long. And about an hour before we quit last night, you know, I was second chip leader at my table. Eric Seidel had the chip lead. And one guy raised and Eric called, and I picked up two kings on the button. And so now I obviously raised it 10,000 more. First guy got out, and Eric Seidel called me after a little hesitation. Now I'm thinking, what could he call with? He didn't three-bet the guy to start with. So I didn't put him on a big pair. I didn't put him on ace-king or ace-queen. He had a three-bet before the flop. So in my mind, literally, I did put him on a small pair, probably. And, of course, he might think I have two tens or an ace-king or spade. But anyway, the flop comes jack 6-3, rainbow flop, all different, no flush out there. So now he checks, and I bet 10,000, and now he raises to 24,000. So now he's the only guy at the table with more chips than me. And now what are you going to do here? I mean, you know, if you think he's bluffing you, obviously call him and just let him bluff his money off. You know, in my mind, I put him on a small pair to start with. So if I think he's got sixes or threes where he flopped a set, you know, can I throw two kings away here? Anyway, I decided to move all in after a long thought. I used up all my time buttons. And obviously he flopped the set. He had three threes and I got broke. So, but, you know, could you get away from that hand? I think it is possible if you put him on a small pair like I did and give him credit for it. Now, he's such a capable player of bluffing in that spot, or at least making one move at the pot, you know, where he check raised me, you know, hoping I had ace-king suited, for example, or a pair of tens where I might throw the hand away. But hey, if I was Dutch and wanted anything poker related, find out something about poker, I would go to PokerCity.nl.